Good evening and welcome to the public hearing on behalf of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. My name is Mary Frank Brown. I'm the designated hearing officer for these proceedings. The role of the hearing officer is limited to ensure an orderly hearing so that an accurate record of this hearing may be developed for the department's evaluation. I do not make any decisions regarding these proposed permit actions. On behalf of the department, we appreciate your participation in tonight's hearing for the following proposed permit action for the Dothan Sanitary Landfill located at 1290 Burkett Road, Dothan, Houston County, Alabama, 36303. The proposed renewal and modification of the Municipal Solid Waste Landfill permit number 35-06. The purpose of the hearing is to provide the public with an opportunity to present oral testimony on the proposed permit action. In addition to oral testimony, the department will also consider all written comments submitted before the close of the public comment period. The department has requested your comments, and we appreciate you taking that time to let us know what they are. On June 25th, 2025, notice of the date, time, place, and purpose of this hearing was posted on the department's website. In addition, the department sent notice of this hearing by email to individuals and organizations who had previously requested advance notice of permit proceedings. A copy of the notice and the email distribution list will be entered into the record of these proceedings. This is the second public hearing for the proposed permit action. Persons who have previously submitted comments during the comment period ending May 29th, 2025 are not required to resubmit those comments for them to be considered as part of this current action. However, such persons may submit additional comments during this second comment period should they choose to do so. Your first comments will still be part of this record and under consideration. Copies of the public notice, permit application, preliminary determination, and draft permit have been made available for inspection by the public at the office of the department at 1400 Coliseum Boulevard in Montgomery, as well as on the department's website. This hearing is open to the public, and anyone wishing to present oral testimony or submit a written statement may do so. Lengthy statements or those containing considerable technical or other complex data should be submitted in writing. Summaries of such statements may be presented orally. All testimony and written comments should be as factual as possible and should address the subject of this hearing. This hearing is an opportunity for members of the public to offer comments to help ensure that all relevant factors are considered before a final permit decision is made. Please be advised that the department is limited in the factors it can consider when making permit decisions and must base the determination only on whether the permit application has satisfied those requirements of applicable environmental statutes and regulations granted to ADEM by the legislature. Persons giving testimony may be questioned by the hearing officer or other department staff to clarify points to develop a better understanding of what is being presented. This proceeding tonight is not an open forum as in an answer and question session. This hearing is an opportunity for you to submit comments that you wish the department to consider in the final review of the permit application. However, you may pose a comment in the form of a question which will be compiled and it will be addressed by the department in its complete response to comments. In addition to oral testimony, written comments may be submitted on the proposed permit action. You do not have to make an oral statement tonight to have your written comments considered by the department. Written statements may be submitted to the hearing officer tonight or delivered to the department in Montgomery as directed in the public notice for this hearing. All written statements previously submitted and those received by the department before the end of the public comment period will be included in the hearing record. It's important to note that written comments submitted through postal or electronic mail are given the same consideration as those that are presented in person at this hearing. All oral and written testimony will be included in the hearing record. After giving full consideration to the hearing record, the department will make its final decision on the proposed permit action and develop responses to comments for the proposed permits. The hearing record, final permit decision, and responses to comment will be posted to the department's e-file system. This hearing is being captured by a court reporter to develop a transcript of this hearing for review by the department. In addition, the entire proceeding is being recorded on video to be posted on the department's YouTube channel to make it accessible to the public. Now let's move forward on to the purpose of this hearing, the receipt of public comments. The order of appearance of persons giving testimony will be as followed. First, representatives of the department's land division, then a representative of the Dothan sanitary landfill, then any elected officials or representatives who have been pre-registered to speak. All members of the public will be heard in the order in which they are registered, then those that register on site at the hearing. I'll now recognize Ms. Isabel Bella to present a statement on behalf of the department's land division.
Good evening. My name is Isabel Bella, and on behalf of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, we thank you for your participation in the permitting process for the City of Dothan Sanitary Landfill, Permit 3506. Three Notch Group, formerly CDG Engineers and Associates Incorporated, on behalf of the City of Dothan, has submitted to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management an application to renew and modify its solid waste disposal facility permit for the City of Dothan Sanitary Landfill. The City of Dothan Sanitary Landfill is located in Section 17, Township 3 North, Range 27 East, in Dothan and Houston County, Alabama. The proposed modification would expand the total acreage of the facility to 506.67 acres. The modification also increases the municipal solid waste disposal area to 74.1 acres. The construction and demolition waste disposal area would also increase to 14.1 acres. The permittee may accept for disposal at the municipal solid waste disposal area non-hazardous, non-infectious, putrescible, and non-putrescible wastes, including but not limited to municipal solid waste, industrial waste, commercial waste, construction and demolition waste, rubbish, sludge, and special waste approved by ADEM. The permittee may accept for disposal at the construction and demolition waste disposal area non-putrescible and non-hazardous construction and demolition waste and rubbish as defined by ADEM Admin Code 335-13-1-.03. The surface area for the City of Dothan Sanitary Landfill would remain Houston County, City of Dothan, and the City of Headland. The maximum average daily volume of waste disposed of at the City of Dothan Sanitary Landfill would remain 400 tons a day. The City of Dothan has also submitted a request for variance from ADEM Admin Code 335-13-4-.22C2, requiring that the maximum final grade of the final cover system not exceed 25% or 4:1. For the 20.5 acre MSW expansion, the permittee has been approved to construct a final cover system with 3:1 final slopes. The City of Dothan also submitted a request for variance from ADEM Admin Code 335-13-4-.221B, requiring waste to be confined to as small an area as possible within a single working face. The permittee has been approved to operate 2 working faces, the first for the placement of MSW waste and the second for the placement of construction and demolition waste. In addition, both working faces must be confined to as small an area as possible. Based on our review of the permit application, the department has made a preliminary determination that the proposed renewal and modification would be in compliance with the applicable state and federal solid waste disposal requirements, and thus protective of public health and the environment. The proposed permit includes the following conditions. Upon renewal, the permit would be valid for a 10-year period. The permittee would maintain a composite liner as described in the permit and permit application, including a leachate collection system. The permittee would continue to conduct groundwater monitoring semi-annually. The permittee would continue to conduct explosive gas monitoring quarterly. The permittee would, at all times, properly operate and maintain the facility and all systems in accordance with the application and the permit. The permittee would maintain the integrity of the final cover system throughout the life of the permit and the post-closure period, and the permittee would obtain the approval of ADEM for any change or modification to the facility or a system which might otherwise result in non-compliance with the permit or ADEM's administrative code. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide an opportunity to receive public comment regarding the application and proposed permit. The department welcomes your input to this process and will consider all technical comments prior to making a final decision concerning the issuance of this permit. A written response will be provided to each commenter and to those requesting specific notice of our decision. Thank you all again for participating in this hearing.
Thank you. We'll now move to see if there's any Dothan sanitary landfill representatives. I don't have a card for anybody, so I think we'll now move to any elected officials, but there was no card, so we'll now move to public comments. Oral testimony for each registered speaker is limited to 7 minutes. If anyone has prepared a statement that cannot be presented in a 7-minute time frame, then I request that you please use your time for oral testimony to summarize your comments, and you can submit your full statement to the department in writing for placement into the record. I'll now recognize our first person is David Del Vecchio. If you'll please stand up to the microphone and clearly restate your name and the name of any interest or organization that you represent. Please speak clearly into the mic to ensure an accurate record of your testimony can be recorded.
My name is David Del Vecchio. I have property that butts up to the dump, affectionately called by some as the landfill. And I've been fighting this battle against the city for a decade. And the city has lost in court to me twice, and the Alabama Supreme Court turned them down. So here we are again with you doing this another time, and me speaking another time. And I really understand that your mind as ADEM is made up, and so is the city's, but my mind's not made up. And I came the last time I spoke here, which was recently, and I started my conversation with BAM! And then I said it twice more so that people would hear what we hear every morning when the dump opens and people come and back up their trucks and start dumping the litter and the trash and the rubbish. And I wanted just to say that so that there'd be a reference, some of those here, hearing that. The people who should be here aren't here because it doesn't really matter to them. They made up their mind. It was Mayor Saliba and the commissioners. And I will bring that up to say this. My son and I, sitting on the front row, were here not long ago for a commission meeting when they were going to discuss the dump. And they had discussed something in the neighborhood of a dozen different items, and each time an item was presented, there was conversation. And they had a discussion among the members. And when the word for the landfill came up, Commissioner Ferguson said, "Let's vote." And Mayor Saliba said, "I'm taking a vote." And there was never a discussion, not even a second. And I thought how interesting that the previous time the two had gotten together and made a determination how they were going to handle this. And that's the way this has been handled since we started fighting this all this time. We still have an innumerable number of buzzards flying over our homes. And recently we had a calf born, and we've lost 3 of our calves. And we had one calf that we saved from the buzzards. We just sold that calf for $2,635. So the other 3 that were killed, that cost us at least $2,000 per calf. But that doesn't matter to anybody but my son and me. The issue, however, is why are the buzzards here? There must be something they're feeding on, and why are they so vicious that they were willing to take the eyes out of a calf and kill it and wait for it to die? Because there's too many of them and the city hasn't done a thing about it. And whatever the city does won't be enough, because when they were here last time having the dump, they obviously didn't cover the dump like the law requires at night, 9 inches of fill on top of it. So the buzzards come and they eat and they dine, and so do the coyotes. And I've killed some of the coyotes. And some of the coyotes have taken some of our calves. The problem remains, and it's obviously my problem. When I came back from overseas in '69, having served my country, I wanted to pursue my happiness because that's what my Constitution guarantees me. And then I got here, and men with small forward looking and can't see but right here, and can't see out there what 506-acre dump is going to do to this city, are making decisions that have effect upon me and others. I wish it was fair, but it's not. I didn't expect it to be fair, but I would like it to have been honest, so that there would have been at least a conversation between the mayor, the commissioners, and the people sitting in the office. But we weren't given that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Michael William Mullen. If you will please stand up to the podium, clearly state your name, any organization that you represent, and speak loudly so that the microphone can pick up your voice. Thank you.
My name is Michael Mullen. I'm your Choctawhatchee Riverkeeper. My understanding is that the landfill is insured by the city. One of my questions is whether the city is prepared for what eventually will be needed that it may have not considered at this time, although it probably won't be legally required, at least while we have this administration in Washington. There's a good bit of PFAS coming off of some of the closed landfill cells. It's ending up in a tributary to Gulf Creek. We have sampled that several times downstream of Ennis Road. That needs to be captured, destroyed, or removed. Even if it's not the law right now, it's a moral responsibility. And if the city has allegedly set aside funds to take care of pollution from the landfill, they ought to be doing that. We've seen as high as 270 parts per trillion PFAS. Not quite as high as what we see coming off of some of the sites at Novacell, but quite high. So even if it's not yet required, it's the right thing to do. The day will come, whether it's somebody downstream eating fish or it's somebody's well at the landfill is contaminated with PFAS and they suffer an illness. The city is likely to pay. They're likely at some point in the future to face lawsuits. And they need to be considering this. ADEM needs to be considering whether the whether the whether the city has the resources set aside to deal with the PFAS problem. If they do, they should already be treating it. That's the technical issue, the pollution issue. The other issue is a fairness issue. How many decades should the people around that landfill be the ones that bear the negative aspects of Dothan's waste? ADEM may not have that in their regulations, but it should be something to, at least somewhere in the back of your mind. If the city has not factored in the cost of dealing with PFAS at some point in the future, it really should perhaps not be in the landfill business if they're not smart enough to realize that that's going to be a problem in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know who to give this to, Data. Got some strangers know, so I'll come over to Data.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Michael Delvecchio. Please come to the mic and speak clearly. State your name and any organization you represent.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Delvecchio. I represent my family and the neighbors around us. The last time we were here on May the 29th, I also made a statement and I also sent an email, and I hope you read those. But there's something else I want to bring to you today to add to what I stated over a month ago. There was a young lady that came who lives on Webb Road, who's one of our neighbors, and she made a statement last time, you've got it in your records, that the water behind her house, the waterway behind her house, was tainted and smelled really bad of chemicals. And that's leaching off of the landfill, the existing landfill. And so I talked to her and I asked her to call me if ADEM, because ADEM was here a month ago, they heard her complaint, if ADEM contacted her within this month. I went today after work to her house, and the reason she's not here tonight because she had another engagement. And I asked her, I said, did ADEM contact you within the last month? It's been over a month, May 29th. And she said, no one has contacted her to investigate the problem that she said before ADEM last month. So if the answer is no, why would we want to expand something to make it worse? When we know that no one hears our complaints right now. Well, it's already a mess. It's already affected the groundwater, as the river keeper has said. It's already tainted the waterways behind this lady's house, and no one even now has investigated, and it's been over a month. So why would we want to expand the problems and the issues that we already have and make them worse? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Bobby Lewis. If you will come to the mic and speak clearly so that the recording can pick you up. Please restate your name and any organization that you represent. Thank you.
My name is Bobby Lewis. I reside at 3019 Webb Road. I represent myself. I represent my community. The community chose me as a spokesperson a long time ago because I'm not afraid to tell the truth and be very frank and candid. Last time we had to discuss ADEM, it was in front of the state Supreme Court, Lewis and Attell versus ADEM, which the Supreme Court, both the Appellate Court of Civil Appeals and State Supreme Court, unanimously ruled that Bobby Lewis and Attell told the truth and ADEM and the city lied. I did say that, but it affirmed my allegations, which, in paraphrasing, says, I told the truth and ADEM lied. I submitted a CD along with some printout material at a hearing we had downstairs in the Civic Center arena. To this day, I've never had any feedback from that. That proved that not only I call it cooking the books. We proved that the city of Dothan and ADEM and their cohorts, some elected officials, have not followed the rules and not followed the regulations, nor are they going to, concerning the operation and ownership and maintenance of the landfill. ADEM is not going to enforce the rules, regulations, and laws concerning ownership, maintenance, and operation of a landfill. That leads to the next choice. We've been the state route. The next route will go federal if we have to. It ain't if we're going to go, it's a matter if y'all make us. That's not that's a promise. I've got 4 water wells on my farm I can't use because they've been contaminated. ADEM did the well samples and proved they were contaminated. Nothing's been done. Now, with that said, let's go back to the graves. The graves was brought up. Former city managers, former public works director, former engineering people, ADEM people, city people, various employees or staff were fully aware that there were graves on that site that had been desecrated and destroyed. The majority of those graves were African American people. They tore down the building thinking that would hide their nefarious activity. They'd be in the city of Dothan. And when it was said and done where this landfill cell is at, that used to be and was originally a life estate. I know the deal behind it. It stinks to have and how the city ended up with it, but it did. We come back to today. We're here prepared to speak and not stop speaking, but not only that, to take action. Most of the city commissioners, the mayor tonight, it's funny, there's some type of forum being held on the opposite end of town over at Troy campus. And we got a state hearing, yet somebody didn't figure that conflict being a more important issue here than that forum. That's a disgrace to whoever did that poor planning. Now, as a citizen who has had major health issues directly related to the landfill, blood tests done, directly related to how come I even had the blood test, is because I was alerted to files, got copies of those files, and myself and some of my neighbors had those blood tests, and not magically, we had various things that would kill any one of them in certain levels will kill a human being. About 6 years ago, I looked like death warmed over for the better part of 6 months. I'm right now getting over shoulder surgery. I got an enormous amount of inflammation. It's hard to stand, it's hard to walk, it's hard to get up. You saw my maybe cringe when I got up. But I'm here. I was not able to be here the last time there was a hearing. because I couldn't get up and down. I was really in bad shape from the surgery and the consequences of that surgery. Coming back to the buzzards, hundreds of them at the time. I won't say thousands, but easily hundreds of them. Coyotes out the wazoo. Now, I've lived on the farm that I currently own at 3019 Webb Road for Mom and Daddy bought it in 55, and I just turned 71. Now, to give you an idea, I've been there. I don't guess the graves there. I played around them. I don't guess that they was destroyed. I know that. Elected officials, city officials, ADEM officials was told those graves were there, yet they did nothing about it. Where did the remains go? If that was your mom and dad, I'm asking you to have your heart in your hand right here. If that was your mom and dad's grave, would you want Bobby Lewis to take a bulldozer and run over and crush it and haul it off, and you don't never know where mom and dad's remains is at? We all know that's not true. You wouldn't want that. The one man that we knew for a fact was related to some of those graves came to the city commission and spoke about 2.5 years ago, if I remember correctly. It may have been longer. He's now passed on. His name is Laura Saffold. He lived at Gordon at the time. He was actually a Gordon City Council member. And he come and he talked about those graves. Nothing has been done by ADEM or the city. There's been no stop of work. There's no been, where did they do the remains? One of my neighbors, like a second dead. He's in the hospital today in pretty bad shape. I can recall as a little boy, he moved over there on that farm in 1958. So he's been around me for 67 years. And I don't remember the exact year, but 60, 61, somewhere in that. A very poor minority, black couple, didn't have the money. They hand dug the little grave, put a little wooden box, and then took pieces of slab lumber and poured a slab on top of that grave to keep vermin from eating their baby up, their remains of their baby. Now, if that don't tug at your heartstring, I don't know what will. You have no conscience. You have no heart. And if ADEM continues to go along with this, maybe when some of you sitting in a cage at state prison or federal prison, you can have a long time to think about it. And I ask you to not only do that, to disregard this, to end this chicanery today and forever. Dothan shouldn't be in the landfill business, and ADEM and the staff members that has falsified the record should be put in prison for life. Have a good day.
Thank you. Since there's no further registered speakers, please be advised that unless otherwise notified, the public comment period will end at 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 31st, 2025. All comments must be received at the office of the Department in Montgomery by that time. After consideration of all oral and written comments, the department will make its determination regarding the proposed permit action and prepare responses to all relevant comments. Thank you for participating this evening. This hearing is adjourned. Thank you.